We're just approaching Frankton Junction on the Llanymynech Canal, and that's where the Montgomery Canal starts. So in just a few moments I'll be making a right angle turn onto the Monty and mooring up at the top of Frankton Locks, which are the locks that take you down onto the canal. It's sunny, it's also rainy. There's been a very, very vivid rainbow off to my left in the past few minutes. Welcome to this edition of The Water Road. Well, the Montgomery Canal used to run for 33 miles across the English-Welsh border, but fell into disuse following a breach in 1936 and was officially abandoned in 1944. Since the 1960s, though, there have been restoration efforts. Currently, there are 8 navigable miles connected to the main system between Frankton Junction and Crickheath. And there are isolated sections, half a mile at Llanymynech and 12 miles around Welshpool. Right, so I'm with Chris, one of the lock keepers at Frankton Locks. But I gather that you've been involved with the Montgomery Canal for decades.
Oh, that's a nasty rumour. Terrible. Yeah, actually I have. Probably about 1968, 69, when I first started to come down here with one of my pals who was from Shrewsbury. And yeah, we used to come down and camp. And my dad had been in the RAF, so I got loads of RAF grey paint, and we used to paint the balance beam here at the top of Frankton. And I know for a fact, because since then I've spoken to people who were working for British Waterways, as it was at the time, and saying that they used to come into work on a Monday and thought, well, the Llanymynech's painted. Who's been working on Frankton? And nobody knew we'd been doing it, and it was us. And that was our little bit. And it was quite funny because we'd be there on our hands and knees, and in our sort of callow youth and innocence, we're going to restore this canal, and people would come along there who've been living down there all their lives and saying, what are you doing? And we're saying, we're restoring the canal. So yeah, that's never going to happen. So yeah, 5 years we'll be through to Welshpool, and 55 years later we're not even a third of the way there.
So what was it like back then? Was the whole canal derelict?
Well, derelict in the sense that it was an abandoned waterway and it wasn't being used, and nature had taken over, and so it was still a canal. It was still a complete canal apart from the bridges that were down. But you know, there were areas which were dry, but you know, we could see beyond that as people can today. And we genuinely thought we could restore it in 5 years. That's how we felt about it. We were that enthusiastic, as people are today. That 5 years has become something more realistic. But it was a canal. The fact there were no boats on it and it wasn't busy didn't matter. It was still a canal. It was an artery, you know, an umbilical cord between villages and towns, Welshpool and Mid Wales and the rest of the world.
So what sort of things were you doing back then?
Well, we were clearing out, principally we were focused on locks, clearly, because that was something that was practical there. You could see, and we could paint, clear weeds and whatever. One particular thing that I remember was down in Welshpool. We were working on a Sunday morning once, and this was before the big dig. A friend and I were down up to our top of our wellies in mud, and I do vividly remember a pair of sort of like toe caps hanging over the edge and hearing voices. And I heard this voice say it, and I said to me, and what are you young chaps doing today? You know, and I, quick as a flash, using the vernacular, I looked up and said, well, we're clearing shit actually, but we're enjoying ourselves. And there was a bit of a haw, yes, ha and stuff. And I subsequently learned that it was the Lord Lieutenant of Montgomeryshire or whatever, and Prince Charles, who was newly sort of installed as the president or patron of the canal. So I relate that story now. I said, you didn't say it. I said, well, we did. And do you know what? I think he laughed. And I think it probably helped him make him sort of passionate as he is about it now still. Or the king is now, of course.
So today then, you're one of the lock keepers here at Frankton Locks, and there is a strict limit on the number of boats that can go down, isn't there?
There is. I mean, we talk about the carrying capacity of this canal. The canal can't deal with more than about 12 boats in reality, because of moorings, because of water, because of managing the whole process. And so I, as a lock keeper, have to ensure, and we lock it up at night, top and bottom, but you have to book to go up and down. And that is simply because of the canal cannot cope with any more. There's 12 or 15 moorings, but if you've got 12 boats down there, we've never done more than 17 in one operation in one day. 24 is the capacity, but we've done 17. I think it was something like 7 up and 10 down or whatever. So we always know how many boats are down there. As a lock keeper, one of the things we do is I have a team of about 7 or 8 volunteers who we couldn't function without. We look to make it a safe environment for them, but also we like to give added value, and quite literally we get people coming through on boats, and after the half an hour experience of going through the flight here at Frankton, it's like losing an old friend. It's like waving goodbye, and they really sort of bye-bye, we'll see you next year, bye-bye, because we've given them that bit of information that they didn't know about. For instance, at Frankton, that's where George Formby used to come and do all his fishing, at that cottage on the bridge. What? Yeah, to get away from his wife, and up on the hill, that cottage you see with the clock on it, is where Len Dayton used to come and spend all his summers, and used to write there from there in the 50s. And they go, what? Now that isn't immediately relevant to the canal, but it's relevant to their experience.
So anyone going down the locks at the moment, you've got, what is it, about 7 or 9 miles to
8
navigate?
miles, yes. 8 miles to go, and it's like everything else. You've got to the point at the end there, and you want to go and do something, get a bit further, and that's what's happening now. Of course, the next point that people want to get to, and we've got this bridge sorted out, is Llanymynech. Of course, once we get to Llanymynech, people want to go on to Welshpool. So it's very important, it's very significant in terms of attracting enthusiastic people and people having an empathy with it all, whether it's investors or whatever, can see that we are making genuine, very professional, sustainable progress in the restoration.
Because actually the most recent opening was a couple of miles to Crickheath, wasn't it? And then
Yes.
after that, there's a couple of miles before you get to Llanymynech that's being worked on at the moment.
Yeah. So in my humble opinion, I think that it is very doable with this, if we are as we are at the moment, to get to Llanymynech within a couple of years, and that would be such a significant move. And I can't over-egg how attractive Llanymynech in itself is, and the visitor centre that's going there, and run by volunteers. So we've got all this energy going into it.
So with Angela, and you've had your hire boat down on the Monty. What have you made of it?
It's absolutely beautiful. It's a paradise, nature paradise.
It's so quiet compared to the Llangollen, isn't it?
No comparison. It's a shame about the pubs are shut, only opening like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you come down, you need to be well prepared.
But it's quite a special canal though, isn't it?
Absolutely. We've been right down to the end where they've renewed it. Lovely big turning space, super down there. If you want a chill out week, this is the place to come.
Because it's pretty remote, isn't it?
Oh, we can do remote. We've had no Wi-Fi, no phone for a couple of 3 days, which has been heaven.
So Pete, you've had a few days on the Monty. What have you made of it?
It's been very nice, very tranquil, very pleasant. It's been a joy.
So would you recommend it then?
Absolutely. Yes, definitely.
Any favourite bits?
I very much enjoyed the last bit at Crickheath Wharf, and then walking down to see what the restoration is up to.
Because they've only got a couple of miles actually before it links up again, haven't they?
They have, but they've still got a lot of work to do. They've done Schoolhouse Bridge, but beyond that, it's a lot of work to do.
So tantalising though.
Absolutely, but probably won't be finished for me to see it.
We're mooring at Crickheath Bridge, the current end of the line. But you can walk the towpath of the next section and see the current restoration work that's being done by volunteers. You can see all the different stages as you progress. The first part's in water, the next bit's lined, then there's a cleared section before you get to a length where the channel is full of trees and bushes. Only then do you get to Llanymynech, where the next part is in water. To find out what's happening right now, I asked the head of the restoration group for an update.
Hello, I'm Tom Fulda, Restoration Project Manager for the Shropshire Union Canal Society. For the last 20 years, the focus has been on channel restoration in Shropshire, working towards the previously restored but isolated section at Llanymynech. We call this the Shropshire Gap. The navigable section from Welsh Frankton on the Llangollen Canal now comes as far as Crickeath Basin, where you moored up. The last project the Society undertook to reach the basin at Crickeath was officially opened in June 2023. The route runs over very challenging ground conditions. It's essentially a beat bog and required a very technical solution. The current project continues on from here, so from Bridge 85 at Crickeath, past the newly rebuilt Schoolhouse Bridge to Bridge 87, which is Malthouse Bridge, and that's a total length of 1,100 metres. We started in 2023 and have already completed 500 metres. This included restoring the historic Crickeath Wharf, which was the terminus for a horse-drawn tramway from a limestone quarry a mile and a half away. We've recently relocated our works compound from Crickeath to Schoolhouse Bridge and are now working in both directions from there. Fortunately, the ground conditions are kinder here with no subsidence, but most of the route has required waterproofing. I expect we will be here for another 3 years or so, and then we'll continue on towards Pant and Llanymynech. We've also just started clearance at Wynwen, beyond Malthouse Bridge. Wynwen is a large basin and would be the site of the next winding hole. So, the Shropshire Gap is shrinking.
So I'm with Roy and we're at the Llanymynech Canal Wharf. Have I said that right?
That's right, yeah.
Just tell me a bit about the centre that you've got here.
The boat is our main attraction, and then the centre serves teas, coffees, ice creams, and we've got other canal memorabilia, and we've got a little exhibition.
So we're at the part of the canal where it's sort of back in water after the break in the canal.
That's right. There's water all the way, well, to Newtown really, but it's not navigable.
And you've got a trip boat and it just does this little bit up and down here?
Yes, a half-hour trip. And children love it. They don't get bored, do they? There's always something to see. If it's only a moorhen or two.
But you've had quite a difficult year this year because of the lack of water.
Oh, yes. We had a bit of trouble last year, but nothing like this. We're completely just sitting on the bottom.
So the 2 miles between here and where it's in water properly and navigable, how long do you think it's going to take them to sort that out?
Well, they always say 10 years, but they've been saying 10 years for the last 10 years probably.
I mean, they are making some good progress,
aren't they? Oh, they are making really good progress.
So are you hopeful that you'll see it all in water one day?
I'm hoping I'll see boats sailing past my garden anyway.
And that's all from the lovely Montgomery Canal, and almost all for this series of The Water Road. The podcast is produced and presented by me, Adam Porter. There'll be a Christmas episode coming soon, and then The Water Road will be back for a new series in the spring. So if you haven't already subscribed or followed us wherever you listen, please click that button so you're alerted when new episodes are published. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please leave us a nice review or rating because it really does help other people to find us. Thank you for listening to The Water Road.